All right. Hey, everyone. How we doing out there in the, well, Australia, I think it's the middle of winter time, but here on the East Coast of the good old USA, we're just ending summer. We're getting rid of the, what we call the dog days of summer. Let me just check my audio real quick. Oh, that's interesting. Let me see what's going on there. There we go. All right. Hey, everyone. All right. Fantastic. I wanted to come on here today well, it's September the 1st, so brand new month. This is the last month of summer for those of us in the good old USA. Last month of summer. It's, I think the 20th or the 21st, something like that. Summer officially ends, but we will, let me just doing out there and let me just do that. I got to check a couple of things as we go along, as usual. But the main things I wanted to talk about today are a couple of things. Number one is the iPhone. There's been rumors that the iPhone is going to be 8K. Is that possible? Is that possible? 8K, seriously. I'm just adjusting something here. 8K in an iPhone. I mean, I don't, I have 5K in my GH5. I have 5K, but I don't really use it that much. I just pretty much shoot in 4K. With my iPhone 13 Pro Max, I shoot 4K almost exclusively. So I'll be curious. Number one is, if it's 8K and it sacrifices low light performance, that doesn't really interest me. They're going to have to, do good with low light for sure. Let me just pull something else up here a second. Let me, graphics, here we go. Turn that off. I'm just adjusting a few things before we get started here. So this is what I saw. This is what I was talking about with the 8K. This is what I've seen. I'll be curious if this actually comes to fruition, but we'll have to see. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But like I said, I'm not really interested in 8K if it comes at the expense of low light. I want low light. That's very important to me. As a matter of fact, low light is like the number one thing that I'm looking for when I buy my next camera. So I have a GH4 and a GH5. I didn't get the GH6. I had it pre-ordered, but it's just not good enough in low light and the autofocus. So I was looking at the Sony a7S III, but now I'm looking at the Sony a7 IV, which is $1,000 cheaper. It's got not quite as good as low light as the 7S III, but it's got very, very good low light performance, especially compared to the Panasonic. Our friend Eric says 8K is overkill, but 6K might be nice. You could crop and finish in true 4K. So I guess they're just, I don't know. It just is, 8K is fine if it doesn't mean that the low light performance is going to be, you're sacrificing the low light. I don't know how that formula works. Bigger pixels, smaller pixels, bigger pixels, smaller pixels. I mean, the A7S III is still the low light king, right? And it's only 4K. So I think there's a trade-off there. What you can do with really good low light versus the resolution. Pixel size, something like that. 48 megapixels photo is okay, but 8K video is a memory filler. Absolutely. That's the other thing. So I have been fine with my iPhone 13 Pro Max for the last year with a 1 terabyte SSD or drive, whatever they have in there. 1 terabyte. However, the fact that it's Lightning connection is a pain in the butt. Here's what a great surprise would be. Tim Cook comes out and says, hey, the iPhone now has USB-C. That would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. Because Lightning speed is USB 2 speed. It's from 10 years ago, the Lightning speed. It's ridiculous that you pay, in my case, I'm getting the Pro version, $1,500, $1,600 for a top-of-the-line iPhone, and you have Lightning connection. It's ridiculous. I'm glad the European Union is making them do USB-C, but I don't think we're going to get it this year. That would be a surprise. That would be the one more thing that Steve Jobs used to do. Smaller pixels, some more noise, that's the other thing. Imagine Lightning with the 2 terabyte. I don't use Lightning, okay? I use AirDrop exclusively. And what I do is I do half a dozen clips at a time. I don't do like a 50 clips because that can cause problems. So I do like half a dozen if I have a whole batch. Send them through AirDrop to my Mac, to my MacBook Pro, and then go make coffee, do something else, come back, or just let it do in the background. I don't use Lightning. Lightning is ridiculous. Lightning is so old. The technology is so old. It's embarrassing. It's just as embarrassing as this. This ridiculous port on the bottom of the Magic Mouse that you have to charge through. It's embarrassing. Lightning is embarrassing at this point. At one point, I guess it was good technology, but not anymore. I guess that's Minnie Mouse. So Garrett says, imagine Lightning with a 2 terabyte. Well, once again, I don't fill my 1 terabyte up. I would never do that. I got the 1 terabyte, so when I go to NAB or I go to the Creative Summit, that I don't have to worry about filling up my iPhone. The 12 that I had, the 12 Pro Max, I had 512. And I don't think I ever filled that up. Maybe 350, what are we talking about? Not megabytes, not terabytes, gigabytes, 350 gigabytes, something like that. But this one right now probably have about 350 to 400 out of the 1 terabyte. So I keep it fairly empty, but it's nice to have that when you go to NAB, and I can just film for days and days and days and not really worry about it. Stream live for days and days and days and not really worry about it. Worry about filling it up. That makes it nice because I use that phone more than anything. As a matter of fact, this phone and the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which I'll be ordering whenever that's available, maybe a week from tomorrow. It's my main phone, my main camera now. I have the GH5 and the GH4 is if I'm doing certain sessions, I have both of those with lenses and Pro Audio and all, but I can get Pro Audio in this too. Now that's the one thing about the Lightning port is I connect my audio in there, my Pro Audio. So I have the DJI mics and I have the Sennheiser MKE 400 for my live streams when I do live stuff. So I get Pro Audio in. I use the Rode Micro AI, whatever they think that thing's called. Larger storage just makes me sleep better. No, I agree. It's just something you don't have to worry about, but I don't need 2 terabytes on my phone. Now, I have 4 terabytes on my MacBook Pro, and I will not get a Mac with less than 4 terabyte SSD going forward. 8 terabytes, no, I don't need that. That's too much money. But the 4 terabyte is very, very handy. Once again, when I go to NAB, when I go to Creative Summit, if I go, I empty it out. I get it down to less than 1 terabyte of store of usage. So I have 3 terabytes available. I have my iPhone, 1 terabyte there, and then I bring in a couple of 2 terabyte Thunderbolt SSDs with me because I can have 2 copies of whatever I shoot. So we got 2 updates to Final Cut Pro over the summer. We got 10.6.3, and then we got a little bug fix 10.6.4 at the beginning of August. I'd be very, very surprised if we got 10.6.5 before we got 10.7 this fall. 10.7's coming in the Apple event. The Apple event will be in October or November this year. Could be both. It could be both. They could do an iPad one in October and then the M2 Max, whatever they're going to release, in November. Or it could be combined into one. It's the Apple Mac event. We'll have to see how that goes. But when they do the M2 Mac event, I'm not talking about the MacBook Air that they did at WWDC M2. I'm talking about I'm still suspicious about the M2 Mac Pro this year. Maybe. I know the roadmap said right now they should be finished transitioning, but I'd be very curious, not very curious, I'd be very surprised, pleasantly, if they brought out the M2 Mac Pro this fall. That would be very nice. They are going to bring out 10.7. I know that. I don't know that, of course, but I know that the Final Cut Pro 10.7 is coming out with the M2 Max. They're going to at least do a preview at that event. So that's what I'm looking forward to, because we didn't get much over the summer. We got, in April, we got the very, very cool 10.6.2 that had a couple of really, really nice features, dupe detection and the audio isolation. That was very cool. And then we had a bug fix later in June, and then we had a second bug fix in August. So that's 3 updates in less than 6 months, but only one with feature. 10.6.2 had the features. So I'm looking for, listen, could we see 10.6.5 before the Mac fall event? Yes, we could. But it would surprise me if 10.6.5 came out, but it's not out of the question because I think they're probably working towards 10.7 coming out in October, November, one or the other. Registration for Final Cut Pro Summit opened now, may go to Orlando. So if you've never been to a Final Cut Pro Summit, I have a couple of announcements concerning the Final Cut Pro Summit. So this is not the same as it's been in the past. Okay, this is not the same. Listen, I've been live streaming from the summit from 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. I live streamed and recorded behind the scenes, and I've done interviews at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit for the last 4 years that they had it in person. This thing that they're doing now is not the same as the Creative Summit. They're using the name, but it's not the same. This is a one-day training event. They're bringing training one day to you in 10 different cities, 5 in the United States, I think, and 5 in Europe. It's not the same as, they're not taking the Creative Summit as we know it and bringing it to 10 cities. They're bringing something different, which is a training day, a single training day, which is fine, but it's not a summit. Summit is a singular event in a singular place at a singular time. That's the summit. It's like when you do a summit of nations. They all get together at the United Nations or somewhere, and they have a summit. They don't do one little thing here, one little thing there. And I'm just saying, just so you know, this is not the same as the other summits. However, that doesn't mean that it's not valuable, because it is. Number one, it's only $125 to go for that one day of training. They'll have training in person that one day. And I think they're having events that night. So you have the training, you have $125. That includes the Final Cut Pro certification exam, a voucher for the Final Cut Pro certification exam. That exam by itself is $149. So if you pay the $125, if you're interested in getting the certification and you pay the $125, it's $25 cheaper than buying the certification outright. Eric Emmerich says he is aware. So I'm just letting you know that it's different. It's not really a summit, even though they're using that name. They own the name, so that's fine. It's just a one-day training event. One-day training event. Listen, since you all tuned in here, I'm going to tell you a little secret. Not a secret, I'm just going to tell you. Well, it is a secret because I haven't announced it yet. So I filmed behind the scenes 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. I filmed 4 years there, and I didn't do the sessions. That's not what I was there for. I interviewed people. I did behind the scenes so you can get an idea of what the summit is like. So I said, well, what do I want to do with that footage? I have probably 20 hours to 30 hours of footage from the last 4 years. So I'm going to make a Final Cut Pro Summit documentary. Just a short one. Just a short one. Maybe 20 to 30 minutes, at least initially. I've already started it, and I'm going to play you some clips today from the summit over the years. I'm going to play you a few clips because I want to make sure that we get a true summit next year. That's my goal. I want to make sure we get a true summit. I want people to realize how phenomenal the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit was, how phenomenal the Juniper Hotel was for that summit, 3 or 4 days. So is anybody going to get certifications? Is anybody going to get certifications? Is anybody interested in getting certifications? Well, I'll be curious if they have, I'll be curious if they come up with a trainer certification. That's what I would be interested in. Oh, let's wait a minute. Let's go here. Speaking of that, speaking of trainer certification, so there's the iPhone 8K recording, right? That's the 8K recording, the information. I would be completely surprised if that turns out to be true. I mean, it's been, everybody's saying that, they say the cameras are improved. 8K on an iPhone is incredible. As long as the quality, the low light quality doesn't suffer. So speaking of that, here's what I'm talking about. This is 4 years. Yeah, 4 years ago. This is my Final Cut Pro trainer certification that I got. They used to give you an actual physical certificate. So this is my Apple certified trainer, Final Cut Pro 10.4. This is the last Apple certified trainer certification that was available, that is available. Right now, there's no Apple certified trainer certifications available as of right now. I got 10.4 back on July the 20th, 2018. And so it's been 4 years since they've had a trainer certification. I don't know what they're going to do with the new training, if they're going to have trainer certifications or not. I suspect it'll depend on if they need trainers. If they need trainers, if the classes prove to be popular and they need trainers, I think they will once again offer an Apple certified trainer certification. And that'll be for 10.6 or 10.7 by then, I think. So Eric says, if I go, I will get certified. Eric, you absolutely should go. 120. Listen, you're going to get training throughout the day. It's $125. You get training throughout the day. You get classes from, I think they start at 7:30 in the morning. And you get training throughout the day. You get the exam voucher, which is really, really cool for included, which, like I said, that's $149 by itself. So absolutely go. Absolutely go. I'm not sure. The closest one to me is New York. And I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to Future Media and see if I can see if it's something that I should be going to. Not for the training. I don't go for the training. Just the film, behind the scenes, you know. And if I go to New York, well, I'll see what Future Media says. We have deals in the past when I went to the summit, and I'll need a similar deal to go to New York if I go to New York. So we'll see what we can work out. The thing about going to New York would be you can get a feel for what the other 9 summit days would be like. You get a feel for it, because I'm not going to be in the classes. I mean, I might stop into a class, but it's not what I'm not going to New York to take classes. It depends on what classes they have. It depends on the instructor, just like everybody else. But if you go to one of the training sessions, it's a whole day of training plus the exam voucher for $125. You really can't beat that. It's a great price. It's a fantastic price. It's in cooperation with Apple. Apple is absolutely behind this. So let me go over here. Let me play a couple of these clips that I have. This is the lobby in the Juniper Hotel. This is when you come down the elevator. The elevator is, over this way. The elevator's over there. This is the desk. The service desk is over here. And then straight ahead is the lobby. And to the right-hand side are all the different rooms where the instruction and the classrooms are. And I think they have 3 rooms I can put together. As a matter of fact, one of the clips, the rooms are put together. And notice something else over there. Notice that it was catered. So when you came out of the sessions, you had food. Let me pull myself over there. Let me show you. Over here, look, right there. There's food on trays. They usually had bagels and stuff. They had coffee a lot of times. So this is the summit. This is the real summit. Here's a clip from it. Has the session started yet? That's what I thought. Seconds. That's what I thought. So that's the lobby at the Juniper Hotel, and you saw our friends Ian Anderson and you saw our friends Lee Herbert from Australia. They were there. And I will pick the online version of the summit, nothing in Amsterdam. Yeah, that was I guess IBC's coming in Amsterdam. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about that, about the IBC event. IBC is coming up this week or next week. I forget which. This week or next week. Which one? Who's going to IBC? So here's my thing there. But this is IBC. Look, IBC. Now, the interesting thing about IBC is it's the same as, this is IBC, welcome to IBC. From everybody's estimate, it's the same as NAB was. It's down about 40% from its high. So it's down about 40% attendance from its high. There's no requirements for anything COVID. You don't need vaccinations proof. You don't need to take a test before you go there. You don't have to wear a mask. They're recommending in some situations to wear a mask, and they're recommending social distancing. They're recommending that, but it's the same as NAB. There's NAB required proof of vaccination or a COVID test. That was back in April. They did not require, what the heck's going on there? Did that go off the air? No, there we go. They did not require mask. You didn't have to wear a mask. Most of the people did not wear a mask. I went and came from NAB without any issues. I didn't get sick or anything. 52,000 people, I think. I mean, obviously, take precautions as you see fit. Here's my friends Mads Larson Nielsen. So I'm going to read the comment. Your studio has a great northern hotel feel about it, and the color scheme is definitely spot on. He's talking about Twin Peaks. He's a fellow Twin Peaks fan. I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan. Absolutely love it. And it does have a northern hotel. Ben's office has very woody. This is all real wood behind me. So, and then like the phone, you don't think that's kind of like David Lynch would have in one of his things? Of course it is. But anyway, that's my friend Mads Nielsen from over there. And he I think he works in TV station, right? Yeah, he does. TV station over there. Yeah, it does. It has a very Twin Peaksy look to it, The Office, if you're familiar with Twin Peaks. But anyway, and this is real. This is not a green screen. I use a green screen sometimes. As a matter of fact, I do a Twin Peaks podcast. When I do that, I put the red room behind me, and I go to green screen. But anyway, so IBC their attendance is down they're estimating about 40%. I think they normally got 50-something. They may be expecting 35. It's almost the exact same attendance at NAB. NAB was down about 40%. So, when I went to NAB in the past, in the Creative Summit typically was 150 people plus the people that worked for Future Media Concepts and instructors, about 150. I've always been very cautious about washing my hands. Very, very cautious. I shake people's hands or touch stuff. I always go wash my hands. I've always been that way. So, and now even more so, right? But anyway, I didn't have any issues at NAB this year. Everything was fine. If I was on the monorail, I might have put a mask on, but when I was in the hall, I did not have a mask on. I don't think. Maybe. I don't think I did. But anybody going to IBC? Anybody watching going to IBC? I've never been there. It's in Amsterdam. I'm pretty sure it's pretty cool. It's like an NAB. So let's go back Let's go back to here. So this is the Juniper Hotel lobby, if you haven't been. Let's see what else we got. Summit Lounge. I don't know what that is. So here's us getting on the bus outside. So you can see there's Nick Alexander, Felipe, Chris Fenwick, and my friend. We'll see him in a second.
Look at that.
Yes.
Then you get
Are we going?
Who's that? Who's that in the gray sweatshirt?
Oh, people are going.
So we're getting on the bus here,
and
getting ready to go to. There's Bill Davis, Ian Anderson.
We did.
Everybody's getting on the bus. We're going to Apple campus, I think. Yeah, look at that, my friend. Torgrim Grimstad. That was my friend. So, 2 buses, over 100 people, because I think each bus is 50 people. We would pile on these buses. We went to different places. One time we had a lunch that was off campus, so we went to the lunch. Saw some presentations, but we got on 2 buses. When we go to Apple Park, we get on a bus. When we go to Apple campus, we get on a bus. But at any given time, the Creative Summit had 2 dozen, 3 dozen Final Cut Pro personalities, people that you see on YouTube, people that you see in podcasts, people that you see their tutorials. 2 to 3 dozen of those people were there for the entire weekend. The majority of them were teaching. The majority of them were teaching classes. Of course, my friend Steve Martin was there. Chris Fenwick, we always have a chat or two. Felipe was there. Ian Anderson from Australia was there. Philip Hodgetts and Gregory Clark are there. Serena Catania's there. That's the 2016 through 2019 Creative Summit. I like this. I want that to come back again next year. So anyway, I'm doing this kind of a mini documentary about the Creative Summit with all the footage I have. It's not the history of it or anything. It's just behind the scenes. It's interviews with people. I interviewed people the whole time. I streamed live from my hotel room a lot of times, and some of the early ones. As a matter of fact, the Creative Summit was the first time I streamed that on Facebook Live. In those days, it was a square 720 by 720 frame. So that is that. Let's see what else we have here. Let's go back to graphics. So there's IBC. It's down about, like I said, it's down about 40%. Someday I'll get there. Perhaps. Here's a picture of me on the bus with friends. This is the picture of the bus. Here is some pictures of the iPhone 14. Now, the big deal everybody talks about is the notch. This notch up here. Let me see if I can point to it. Let me see. How do I point? This way. This notch rather than not the notch, but the punch out. Everybody's talking about the punch out, whether it's going to be continuous from the rectangle over to the dot or it's going to be whatever. Because right now it has a complete notch on the iPhone. I don't know if I can show you. So right now it has this, a complete notch, but the new one has a little cutout from what they're saying. I'll be curious. So the Apple event is a week from, no, it's less than a week. It's next Wednesday. Next Wednesday will be the Apple event, the Apple iPhone event. What else they'll show? Maybe the Apple Watch. I don't know. I mean, look, we can shoot. Apple event, the Apple iPhone event. What the heck? What else they'll show? Maybe the Apple Watch. It's ridiculous. The this thing shoots ProRes. I can record ProRes on this. It's incredible. And a phone. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Garrett says, not going to IBC this year. Still not sure about COVID. Plus, I have a 24/7 shift that weekend, meaning they can call me to solve problems at the network anytime. Yeah, I'm not, I like the COVID thing has just thrown everything into a mixer for the last 3 years, and it gets better and it gets worse, and who the heck knows? I don't want to certainly catch COVID. I certainly don't want to do that. So, but I wanted to go to NAB, so I said I'm going to NAB. So I did that last year, and it was fine. It was fine. I don't know if this. We didn't, even on the airplane wasn't required to wear masks when I went in April. So, what the heck? No, I know what you mean, Garrett. Not going because you're not sure about COVID. I completely understand that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I respect that, whether you feel one way or the other about it. I respect both opinions. So. Let's go back to graphics. Here we are. So this is the iPhone. It's supposed to be a rendering of the iPhone. Who the heck knows? Is it? I don't know. Probably. I think they're pretty accurate. Here's a question I have for you that came up. When did videographer and editor become the same job? Why are they asking for both a videographer and an editor? To me, they're two different skill sets. Now, I can do that. I can do videography. I am a videographer and I am an editor, but I don't know if I would apply for a job that wanted me to do both. I mean, I did both when I worked at the National Archives. I was the post supervisor down there. I didn't do video. I was not a videographer for them. They had a dedicated videographer, but I did videographer on my own, just like anybody, records with their phone or whatever. Like, for example, we had one night when we had Walter White from Breaking Bad was there, right? He was there. So I worked that night event. It was for the LBJ film. So I filmed him getting out of his limousine in front of the National Archives, coming up. I filmed him downstairs. He was in, like in a red carpet kind of situation. That was not official National Archives business. That was my personal phone. I wasn't required to do that, but I did that, once again, behind the scenes kind of stuff. Daniel Suzuki says, I hope they add USB 3 speeds to the Lightning port on the new phones. I don't think they can add USB 3 to the Lightning. I think Lightning is restricted by the protocol, whatever the chipset is, and it's only USB 2 speeds. It's about 10 years old. It was fast 10 years ago. It's not. It's embarrassing to have Lightning on the phone that costs $1,500 in my case. It's embarrassing. The speed is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the one good thing about it is all my audio connects to my iPhone via the Lightning port. I don't know if there's a Lightning port to USB connection that they can do, some kind of an adapter. I don't know how that would work. But Lightning itself, the speed it's in the protocol. That's as fast as it can go, USB 2 speeds. But a USB-C port instead of a Lightning port, that would be a pleasant surprise. On a side note, most of the IBC news will be shared by the online people. Right, that's the same as NAB. I mean, they have live streams, they have reports. I mean, there's a dozen different people that were reporting every single night. I did live streams, a couple from the show floor, but there was problems with internet connection and audio and stuff, and so I mainly filmed during the day, and I went back to the hotel at night, uploaded to my laptop, and then I did live streams with clips from my hotel room. And I also got up in the morning, and I think I did live streams from there. So yes, there will be, but there's no live, from what I've read, there's no live streaming from IBC. Everything's going to be delayed 2 or 3 hours, whatever. So it won't be no live streaming. I don't know why, but I read that somewhere today. That was kind of surprising. Now, once again, if I was there, I'd be live streaming, unless they absolutely restricted me somehow, terms of service, whatever. That's a different issue. But I certainly film, and then do clips later. But this, as you said, Garrett, on a side note, most of IBC News will be shared by online people, the same as NAB. People share that. I mean, 2 dozen sources of constant news about NAB and IBC will be coming out constantly. Now, here's the thing. Most people are selling you something, okay? So Black Magic is going to be talking about Black Magic products. They're not covering NAB. They're not covering IBC. They want to talk about their products. Plug-in manufacturers want to talk about their plug-in. Sony wants to talk about Sony products. So what you need is to get is an individual like myself, and I cover everything. I'm not selling you anything. I have no dog in the hunt, as they say. I cover things that interest me, mostly about Final Cut Pro. Sometimes I do audio things. Sometimes I do I definitely like Black Magic by far, hands down, has the biggest display in NAB. And they were even at the Creative Summit last time. Garrett says, I don't mind waiting a few hours. News will arrive sooner or later. Absolutely. No, I agree with you. But the difference between, for example, the online version of NAB and the one I went to in April, there's no comparison. The online ones are a distant second place. Better than nothing, but not the same as in person. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite things to do at NAB was the Super Meet. The Super Meet was like the best thing. It was in person. It was on a rooftop restaurant, so you were out in the open. You weren't enclosed somewhere. It was out in the open. Hundreds of people were there. It was really, really nice. It was smaller than Super Meets in the past, but they were inside. So that was probably one of my favorite things to happen at NAB. Absolutely. But I like I said, when I was there in person, it's much better than the streaming version. Same with the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. 2016 through 2019, all of them are in person. 2020, 2021, and there's none in 2022. They're not having a Creative Summit the way they had in the past. So the Creative Summit 2020 and 2021, they were virtual. I'm glad, absolutely appreciative that they did those, but they're still a distant second from the ones that were in person in 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. There's no comparison. There's really no comparison. So, but everybody do what you feel comfortable doing, whether you attend live events or not. I attend live events. I've been attending them for the last 3 years if they're outside. I never stop going to events. If they're outside, I go to them. Inside, I have to see. I've been to a few restaurants, but it depends on what's going on, with whatever. All right, let's do a couple more videos. So this is the one from the Creative Summit. This is getting on the bus. There's the Lumid. Let me see what this one is. So here's the Apple Park. This is a cool one. We took a bus to Apple Park, not the park. It's the gift shop, the Apple gift shop right across from Apple Park. As a matter of fact, you can see, if you look straight up, Apple Park is right above us. You can see we're going up to the rooftop for a presentation here. So there's Apple Park, Spaceship Campus right there. You can see it. That's the Spaceship Campus. Where this is the gift shop right across from the Spaceship Campus. Now, here's the thing. 2018 and 2019, we were told we were going to Apple Park. 2018 and 2019. We didn't get there either time. I'm not sure what happened, but something happened, and they were, I think 2019, it was canceled within 2 weeks of the summit. So I suspect that was Apple. I see my buddy Nick Alexander. Yep. So Scott, actually Nick Alexander won a summit pass on this show. That's how he got there. You were at that one? That was 2019. Nick Alexander won a summit pass from Final Cut Pro Radio TV. We awarded him on the show, I remember. That was a big prize. That was a nice prize to have, for sure. All right, let's do one more video. So let's finish this one up. So they set us up. This is a special presentation. This is just for our group. And you can see across the street, you can see the Spaceship Campus. It was right across the street. I don't know if you really, where those trees and things are, it's across the street. We could see it from where we were sitting. We got a special presentation there. This is part of the deal when you go to the Creative Summit. But you can see all the people that are there. Lots and lots of people. What else do we have? Oh, this is a nice one. Here's a nice little, from one of the Creative Summits. Once again, because you're watching this, you get to hear this first. I'm doing a documentary about the Creative Summit from 2016 to 2019. It's just behind the scenes stuff, interviews I've done. I'm cutting together live streams and things. I'm working on it right now. I'm not going to announce the name of it, but I'm working on it. So it'll be maybe 20 minutes to 30 minutes. That'll be enough, at least for the first one. I have 20 to 30 hours of footage, so we'll see. I'll do the first one, put it on YouTube. We'll debut it here, maybe do a teaser or two. And because I want to encourage them to do the real summit next year. Even if they do these one-day summits around the world, when you get to LA, do the real one. Do the 3 and 4 day summit at the Juniper Hotel the way we've had it. It's been worked out fantastic. We get to go to Apple Campus. We get to see the Final Cut Pro team in person, do a presentation just for us. And they come and talk to us in person. They come to see us on Saturdays at a private session. So let's watch this. This is another one. So this is 2018 or I think maybe 2018. I can't remember. So tomorrow night.
Yeah.
At the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit.
Yes, sir.
This is Brad Olson. This is the producer of the Final Cut Pro documentary, which is called Off the Tracks. So as you can see there, I was the co-editor for Off the Tracks. Brad and I started that. We worked remotely back and forth because he's in Idaho or Utah. He's in Utah. And I'm here on the East Coast. So he came on Final Cut Pro Radio before the documentary was underway. And I interviewed him about the documentary. And I said during the interview, if you need help, I'll help you edit it. we'll figure out a plan and go remotely. So that's exactly what we did. This is the screening at the Creative Summit.
Thank you.
Once again, that's just a little clip from the many, many hours of footage that I have. If you were there, if anybody was there, we used to go to a place called Armadillo Willie's, which is you walked across the alleyway and it was right there. And we ate there. Almost everybody ate there. It had barbecue and French fries. It was really, really good. I think it's a Vietnamese restaurant now. In 2019, I'm pretty sure Armadillo Willie's is no longer, and there's a Vietnamese restaurant there. But I want to see the Creative Summit again. So let's get to a few. Let me see what we got here. Is there any Facebook comments coming in? I think everything. No, they are coming in. They are coming in, so that's cool. Let's do this. So this is interesting. Let me pull this up. Interesting, not necessarily in a good way. That's the videography job. Let's pull this up. Look at this. Filmic Pro is going to subscription. Now, I've had Filmic Pro for a long time. I bought all the packs and things. We are currently testing a number of pricing models, one of which includes a subscription. Now, the problem with that, it's not a problem per se, but I think they're being a little bit coy about what's going on. There is certainly going to be a subscription, absolutely going to be a subscription. Here's what they say, the future of Filmic. Here's the interesting part. This month, Filmic has joined forces with Bending Spoons. Okay? Bending Spoons has subscription. I think every one of their apps that they have are subscription only. Subscription only. Now, the problem is, I won't use Filmic Pro if it's a subscription. There's no way. I'm not going to do it. I bought it. I bought the packs. I think they will continue to allow me to use it. I'm not going to agree to subscription, especially that Bending Spoons company. Their subscriptions start at $2.99 and $4.99 per week. Per week. Not per month, not per year. They start at $2.99 and $4.99 per week. They charge you by the week. Now, they also have a monthly and a yearly one. But Bending Spoons, from what I've seen, I could be wrong, every one of their apps is subscription only. Every one. Now, we have to give Filmic, we have to give them a chance to come forward and tell us the details. But this is coming out. They're going to do a subscription. If they're doing subscription for new users only, it depends, because we haven't seen the pricing model yet. But if it's $2.99 or $4.99 a week starting, I will never recommend it to anybody new. There's no way that I'd recommend that to anybody new. Now, if the pricing model is, $20 a year, that's different. That's different. But I want to see how they're going to treat their loyal customers that we've been supporting them all these years. I'm pretty sure they're going to allow us to maintain our purchase and not make us do a subscription, because I would not do a subscription, probably. It depends on the cost. I'm not going to pay $2.99 or $4.99 per week. That's a ridiculous amount of money. So that's not going to happen. That would be $250 a year. $4.99 times 52 weeks would be $250 a year for what? An iPhone app that is a camera? That's ridiculous pricing. So I'm not a big fan of bending spoons at this point. I won't support them in their subscription apps, and hopefully Filmic continues with more common sense in their model going forward. I have 10 different iPhone apps. 10 different iPhone apps camera apps for the iPhone. Death by subscription model. Yeah, I stopped working with Adobe when they went to their... Adobe's the worst case scenario. Their subscription is the worst. And I'll tell you why. Because with in Adobe's circumstance, if you stop paying the subscription, your app stops working on your computer. It doesn't freeze at the version you have, and you can't get updates. It stops working. So you have to pay for the rest of your life. When you're retired, you got to pay. You got to pay every month, every year. That's the worst of subscription models. I have subscriptions. I have subscriptions that I really, really like. One of them is Descript. I use Descript a lot. I have that subscription. This streaming software that I have is a subscription. As a matter of fact, it's coming up for renewal now. That's coming up for renewal. So let's just do this. This is what I'm using. This is my 34-inch LG monitor. This is Ecamm Live. This is the software. This is a subscription. This is great value to me, this model. I actually bought Ecamm Live before it went to subscription, and they gave me a very, very big discount since I had a perpetual license for it to go to this pro level subscription. So this is a subscription that I have. But the thing is, I can still go back to the other version if I wanted to. I made sure of that before I switched over to the subscription model. So I don't mind subscriptions per se. It depends on if they're the value for how much value they offer for their subscription price. That's what it depends on. Anybody got any questions? We got some more to talk about yet. So next week, next Wednesday is the Apple event, the iPhone event. Certainly will be watching that with very, very keen interest. I don't think there won't be any Final Cut Pro news. I can't imagine there would be at an iPhone event. But other than the fact that 8K video, sure. That's fine. I probably won't use it. I'll use 4K like I've been using. But occasionally, I might have use for it. Let me just pull this up here. Let me pull this up. We have a question I'm going to try to answer. Creative Summit. So he have a question. Scott Hartman says, anybody know where the LA meeting for this year is being held? It's not on the site yet. I'm trying to plan to get my lodging in the general area of LA. I thought it's not on the site. Let me just check. Okay. Because New York just came on. Let me see. Huh. You're right. It's not on the site yet. Here we are. Here's the LA. But here's what it includes. A full day of cutting-edge training, access to networking, expo night to interact with peers and local talent, complimentary certification prep course, complimentary certification exam voucher, global summit tour recording bundle, post. This is a lot of stuff. A goodie bag for $125. So if you're in it, if it comes to an area near you, absolutely go to it. If they had one in DC, I'd go to it. New York, I have to see. I'll have to see if I can work out a deal with Future Media like we have in the past, like I have in the past for the real creative summits. I don't know where the venue is. I thought they announced it for LA, but apparently not. So they're still working on it. This is December the 13th. You got a lot of time to get to that. But look at the doors start open at 7:30 a.m. And I think the expo is like at 5:30, 6 o'clock. So this one has the Apple product team and representatives will be on site to present Apple Pro video updates. On site. I'm not sure on site. There's no presentation by them. So that's something that's not going to happen at the other 9, I don't think. That's December the 13th. Maybe that's the one I should go to. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes for the fall. Jacob says, what were your thoughts on the Video Creator University going online only and the Final Cut Pro Summit dates are live now? Yes. So I'm not sure what happened with the Video Creator University going online only because the Creative Summit's in person. There's no sense in doing a 10-city tour. It's not in person. The Creative Summit, it's not really the Creative Summit. They're just using that name. It's the online training for Future Media Concepts, Final Cut Pro training. I highly recommend everybody that's, if it comes to a city near you and it's not too much of a hassle to attend, $125. What else are you doing on a Saturday or whatever day it is? You're not doing anything. Go to the World's Tour, 10-city tour. Daniel Suzuki says, I would prefer 4K 60 frames per second in cinematic video mode rather than 8K video. Yeah, that sounds like something. But you know what? Their iPhone, I don't know how much attention that they pay to pro video people for the iPhone. You know what I'm saying? It's for the general public. You know, the Pro Max version is more geared toward the professional market, but they don't really go out and talk to professional editors. What do you want to see in the iPhone? They don't do that. They don't do that. It's just like Final Cut Pro is not catered to Hollywood. Hollywood is a tiny, tiny little segment of the people that use Final Cut Pro. Is it prestigious? Sure. But it's not the most of the audience. The 4.4 million to 5 million Final Cut Pro users, I'm just guesstimating, 3.5 to 4 million, let's say. The LA portion is tiny, is minuscule compared to the total thing. So they should pay us a proportionate amount of attention to Hollywood, specifically, if they need specific things. I mean, how many people in Hollywood want a dupe detection? They got it after 11 years. But to be honest with you, I've never used it once. I've used voice isolation all the time. To me, voice isolation was the hit feature of 10.6.2 back in April. And I didn't know it at the time, but I've tried it since then. It's machine learning. Artificial intelligence is phenomenal. So I don't think anybody in the iPhone department at Apple talks to professional editors and say, what do you want in your phone? I would tell them a few things. Get rid of the Lightning port, completely get rid of it. Get its USB-C / USB 3 protocol on there. I don't think they're going to get Thunderbolt. That would even be a bigger surprise. But so I can transfer data on and off easier than using AirDrop. That's what I say. What else do we have here? So anyway, Filmic Pro is going towards subscription model. We'll have to wait. Let's give them a chance to respond. What is this? Oh, here we go. Forgot to mention this. Final Cut Pro Radio. New episode is out. You go to fcpradio.com or it's on. This is the iTunes podcast version. It's out. This is a really, really good one. Gabe Cowan from Audio Design Desk. We had a really, really, really good conversation. And I tried to stick to mostly Final Cut Pro stuff, but that just came out yesterday. So head on over to fcpradio.com or wherever you subscribe to it. It's a really, really good podcast with Gabe. Here's something for everybody who's talking about it. We don't officially test or support Resolve as a host for our products at this time. For most users, our plugins run fine in that NLE program. It's a weird way to say that. It is on our team's radar to explore more NLE host support like Resolve, Final Cut Pro 10, and more down the road in 2023. That's Isotope. I bought Isotope. I was waiting for Isotope. At the beginning of August, I said they had a special discount to buy it. I said, I'm not going to buy it because I think Isotope 10 is going to become Isotope. RX 10 is coming out. At the beginning of August, they said, if you buy RX 9 now, you get RX 10 for free. So I'm glad I waited specifically. Frank says, hi, I'm watching you from Turkey. I'm 21 years old. What is your Instagram account? Can you write to the chat? I will, but it's the same as everything else. It's, let me write it for you. All my social media is the same, Richard Taylor TV. All of them. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Richard Taylor TV. Now, here's the thing. Facebook, I have personal stuff I put on, mostly art, music. I put a lot of rock music things on there. YouTube has a lot of Final Cut Pro stuff, but I do animal rescue videos as well. The Twitter, I do a lot of FCPX hashtag things. When I cut a video in Final Cut, I'll post it up there. Let me just do something here. Make sure it's still working. It looks like it. Oh, there we go. So, but my Instagram account is different. My Instagram account, I do videos of my cats. I do videos of stuff outside. I take a walk. I get up in the morning. I drink coffee, feed the cats, and I go for a 2-mile walk, jog. While I'm walking and jogging, there's just one place that has, like, it's a gas station at an intersection, and if the gas price changes, I'll do a little video, 10-second video of gas prices because they've been coming down. I think it's $3.59 here in the on the East Coast, something like that. So my Instagram account is different than everything else. They're all different. Facebook is mostly personal friends. It's not really that much Final Cut Pro. I have a Final Cut Pro group for Final Cut Pro Radio. It's facebook.com/groups. Just search for Final Cut Pro Radio TV, and you can join our Facebook group if you belong to Facebook. And we have we're like 1,800 members at this point. I'm pretty strict about who gets in there. I try to keep spammers out completely. If you spam the group, you get deleted and blocked. You can't get back. So come there and discuss mostly Final Cut, some post-production things. You know, obviously we're streaming live there on this right now. Let me just go over there. Here we go, right here. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Let me just refresh. We should be live on there. Yeah, we are. So this is the Final Cut Pro group. Final Cut Pro, I'm not going to. This is us live on the site, but it's Final Cut Pro Radio TV. If you can see up there, Final Cut Pro Radio TV. Just search for that in Facebook if you want to join, and you can join. We let most people in. There's a few questions to ask, but most people can get in. Any other questions? Jacob says, which summit are you going to? So Jacob, the closest one is New York by far. That's only about a 3-hour train ride from here. So I would go up via train. But it's very expensive in New York to get a hotel room and stuff. So New York, but now that I see the Final Cut Pro team is going to be in LA, that is also a possibility. That's a lot more work for me. I'll need to get a hotel for 2 nights, night before and the night of, and I had to go to the airport. So, but if the Final Cut Pro team is going to be there, that'd probably be the one I want to go to. So, once again, it depends on what I can work out with Future Media Concepts. That's what it depends on, which one I go to. It would be probably New York. I could go to New York for the debut, the start of the tour, the worldwide tour, or I could go to LA, but I had to get a hotel for 2 nights. And, you know, the normal agreement that we've had over the years when I go to the summit, I wouldn't pay for it myself. Oh, speaking of which, I do have buymeacoffee.com/Richard Taylor TV. You can buy me a coffee anytime you like. And when I went to NAB, I had like $180 worth of coffee. People supported, you know, they appreciate what I do. So I just got another coffee today from a friend of mine down at National Archives who thanked me for editing his videos over the years when I was down there. That was nice. I think that's all. Is there anything else going on before we log off here? Let me see what else I have. So Isotope it's not supported in Final Cut yet. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'm not sure if they're saying more down the road in 2023. Well, I think they've been promising Final Cut Pro support for years, and it hasn't happened. I don't know whose fault that is. I really don't care. I don't use it in Final Cut. I use it in Logic and standalone, and it's really invaluable. It's really, really invaluable for some things. Clicks and scratches and stuff. Have we got all the videos up? So let's see if we played them all. Apple Park, Summit. Oh, here's one more. So this is what you get at the Summit. Look who's there. Chris Fenwick, Robin's there, Ian Anderson's there, Felipe. And this is just the lobby in the Juniper Hotel. Just casually between sessions, everybody just hanging out, talking, chatting, Final Cut Pro stuff. This is what the summit is. Like I said, I'm going to do like a mini little behind the scenes documentary. I've already got it well underway. I think I've cut about 7 or 8 minutes so far, but it's not really long segments. It's just short sections, and I'll juxtapose different years and things. And I want to get a version out shortly, so the people that are in power, that control the summit, realize that we want the real summit back whenever they can make that arrangement. Like I said, do the world tour next year in 9 cities, but when you get to California, go back to Cupertino, it's walking distance to the Apple campus, so we can go to the Apple Park, whatever we're going to do, go talk to the Apple team, see their presentation. Get back, do the 9 tours or whatever you want to do, the single days, but make the one in California back to the summit. Do the full summit for us. That would be appreciated by all of us, right? It will indeed. Let me just pull up. Let me see what we got here. Here's a nice little new plugin from here we go. I'm not going to play any audio, but this is a nice new why isn't it playing? It's a new plugin from Motion iPhone Animation Pro. For some reason it's not playing. But anyway, it's a real nice plugin. You can put your video inside of an iPhone and it goes 3-dimensional. I don't know why it's not playing. Motion Master Templates. Brand new. I have a lot of their plugins. Final Cut Pro, absolutely. Animate up to 4 points. I'm not sure why it's not playing, but I don't think it's my end. Who knows? Here's one of our plugins. Let me pull up one more thing here. So over here, I'm keeping a tab of master list of articles, Final Cut Pro articles, white papers, PDFs for printing and downloading. But also notice right here, anytime you send your request, bug reports, or feedback to the Final Cut Pro team, there's a link right there. All you have to remember is fcpx.tv. It's right there. So if you forget how to get it, it's right there. fcpx.tv, click right there. But here's the master list that I have right now. Articles, white papers, PDFs for printing and downloading. There's all the white papers, audio rolls, Final Cut Pro. This is funny. Final Cut Pro 7 for Final Cut Pro 7 editors. Why ProRes? Ian Anderson's on a roll. He's doing a lot of writing. He just did one about color and stuff. So that's a good one. But anyway, Final Cut Pro object trackers, walkthrough, social media, transform, conform. fcpx.tv. Once again, everybody promotes their own stuff. They have an interest. If you're a plugin maker, you promote your plugins. If you're this or that, I like making lists of everybody's stuff. I'm not selling any plugins. I'm not selling anything on Final Cut Pro fcpx.tv. I'm not selling anything with Final Cut Pro Radio. 7 years I've been doing this, Final Cut Pro Radio. I don't make any money off of that. I just do it because I like Final Cut Pro, and I've been doing podcasting for a long time. So I'm not selling anything. I like making lists. This whole thing with Final Cut Pro, FCPX.TV started, I would make lists for myself. When something came out, Final Cut Pro comes out, 10.7, I'll get articles and videos and tutorials, and I'll make a list for myself with links so I can just click on it and go to the information. So I said, I might as well publish that for everybody else. So that's where that comes up. And you can also buy me a coffee. Look at that. You want to support me? You can buy me a coffee. There we go. Buy me a coffee. Like I said, I had, when I went to NAB, I had about $180 worth of coffee supporters. And I'll do the same if I go to one of the creative summits this year. Here's what I'm thinking. If I can work out a deal with Future Media Concepts conferences, I'll go to New York for the kickoff event. Not for the classes, but I'll go there to report behind the scenes, interview people, and then maybe I'll go to LA in December, same thing, report, do interviews, stream live, go to the hotel room at night and post clips and things. You have to see. I haven't talked to them about it, but we'll see how it goes. I think that's it for today. I am going to get back to work. I think I'll see you next week on Final Cut TV live. Oh, I have a feeling I'll be back next week. So, thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. We're going to, let me just do this. We're going to hang out. We're not going to hang out here. We're going to get off the air now and go do something else for the rest of the day. I have a lot of work around my house right now. All of a sudden, a lot of things breaking, and I'm working in my attic and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, everyone, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.